There's a formula you need to understand if you're going to thrive in your life, in your business, in whatever you find yourself doing. There's a formula you need to understand. I call it the life advantage formula. What you know plus how you express what you know multiplied by who you know and who knows you. What you know is the level of your competence. How you express what you know is the level of your communication. Who you know is the level of your connectivity. Who knows you is the level of your credibility. Let's define these formulas. Let's break it down. What you know, which deals with your competence, you need to understand four levels of knowledge. The first level of knowledge is the knowledge of you, and this has to do with self-awareness. You need to understand yourself. Man, know thyself. You need to have clarity about yourself. Clarity is the right of all, but not the experience of many. But this shouldn't apply to you. You need to have clarity about yourself. Understand what your strengths are and what are your weaknesses. If not, you will keep projecting your weaknesses even without knowing, because life will not even give you the opportunity to project your strengths since you don't even understand your strengths. So you need to know who you are if you're going to thrive. The second level of knowledge has to do with the knowledge of yours. That is the knowledge of your environment. In any environment you find yourself, you need to understand the modus operandi of that environment. You need to understand how that environment works. In any sector you find yourself, any sector of career or business, you need to have a basic understanding or even an advanced level understanding of how those sectors work. You cannot also leave a particular environment and go into a new environment without understanding how the system of that environment works. We call it in law due diligence. You must do due diligence about your environments if you're going to thrive. The different levels of environments you find yourself, you must do due diligence to understand it so you can thrive in those environments. Very, very important. Now, the third level of knowledge is the depth of knowledge. In whatever you find yourself doing in your forte, you must have a level of depth to that particular thing you do. For instance, I'm a lawyer, I'm a business strategist, and a human resource consultant. In my forte, it is expected of me to have a depth of knowledge in those things to be able to deliver. And that is very critical if you're going to thrive. And the next level of knowledge is the breadth of knowledge. You must know something about everything, even if it doesn't apply to your sector or even if it doesn't apply to your forte. And I call this commercial awareness. You must be able to understand how some things work. You must be able to communicate in some certain level of language. And it's very critical, it's very important that you understand that. Very, very important. Now, the second formula is how you express what you know, which has to do with your communication. And here's the thing about communication. The words you speak are just 7% effective when it comes to the equation of communication. 7% effective. The next is the tone of your communication that has 38% in terms of effectiveness. So that means it's not just all about the words you say. I need you to understand that. Then 55% has to do with your body language. So words 7%, 38% for tone, then 55% for body language. Very critical for you to understand. Now we go to the next equation of this formula. Who you know and who knows you. This is very critical. This is very important. The first level of this formula is on an arithmetic progression. What you know and how you express what you know. In this second level of this formula, it goes on geometric progression. It goes on a quantum leap because it will take people to amplify what you know. It will take people to amplify what you know. And if you're going to do this effectively, you need to understand three things. Three: social skills, stakeholder management, and service. Because you need to connect. And to connect, you need social skills. You need to know how to network. Your network determines your net worth. It is true. You need people. You need people. You can't do it alone. You need people to speak up for you, to introduce you, to refer you. You need people. So you need to learn how to connect with the right people that will help you in your career, in your business, in life. It is necessary. It is pivotal. Then, stakeholder management. You cannot show up in a room looking for opportunities and don't understand who are the stakeholders that are critical to those opportunities. Stakeholder management. In a subsequent video, I'm going to do a video teaching you about stakeholder analysis, to analyze the different stakeholders we have, because we have different levels of stakeholders. But you just need to understand stakeholder management. It is very critical. Then the next one is service. You need to serve, especially if you want people to know you. You need to serve. In service, you're connecting with the emotional sides of people, and they will be able to vouch for you, even in rooms that you are not opportune to be in that particular place or environment. They will vouch for you because of the level of your service. There was one interesting thing I heard from someone, a very top executive. He told me, TG, that there was a particular top CEO of one of the top banks, that he was having an event, and in that event he called himself the errand boy. That everything that will make that event a success that the top CEO needed, he was there to make it happen. And that was service. And in that service, he was communicating to the emotional parts of that top CEO. Tell me, if that guy needs anything, any opportunity that might come for him, and you think that that top CEO will not recommend him, he will definitely do. And that is because he understands service in terms of connecting with people. You need to understand these three things: social skills, stakeholder management, and service. Is very critical. Now, the last part of this, and it's very important that I let you know this also: you must know God. Something must be backing you up. You must know God. The people who know their God shall be strong and do exploits. You must know God. Jesus, to be able to deliver his ministry here on earth, Luke 2:52 said, and Jesus grew in wisdom, in stature, and he found favor with God and man. Favor with God first, but he also needed men to deliver. Don't think you don't need people. You need men. You need to find favor with God and with men. It's not just all about what you know and how you express it. People will need to amplify your voice and speak up for you. This formula is very critical. When you understand this life advantage formula, it will help you to thrive in your business, in your career. And I'm rooting for you, and I wish you the very best.